children, today we are going to start off with our new topic, that is recruitment, selection and training. Out of which we are going to cover today what is recruitment, why it is required, and we would also talk about the sources of recruitment, out of which we would talk about the internal sources of recruitment and its advantages and disadvantages. Now let us start with recruitment. Children, before we know what is recruitment and why it is required, let us first know what is human resource and why it is an important part of the organization. When we talk about human resource, it is the resource, it is the people working in an organization, that is the people working at lower level, at higher level, and the people who are boss, subordinates, who collectively form the human resource. Now, why are these people important? Because of the fact that they have the capabilities, they have the skills, they have the knowledge to work at different levels in an organization, and they help to achieve the objectives, the goals of an organization. Say, for example, a worker working in an organization, he has the capabilities to work on the machines. He has the knowledge to operate the machine properly. So, isn't he an important part of an organization? Yes, he is very much important, because without the workers, the production is not possible. He has the knowledge to help in operating the machine properly and to boost up the production in an organization. Now, let us talk about the manager level. Yes, a manager is also an important part of an organization. He is an important part of the human resource of the organization. Why? Because if supposingly the manager, he does not know how to operate the organization, that is, he does not know what all things he need to manage in his work, that is how he needs to make the salaries of the people, how he need to motivate his people, how he need to help in the flow of production, sales and so on, the company, the organization would be of no use. Because of this reason, we can say that human resource is an important part of the organization. It is the human resource because of whom the physical resources, that is the land, labor, machinery, raw material, etc. in an organization is utilized properly, is being utilized to the optimum level. And it is because of the human resource, that is the people working at different levels, that the finance, that is the money which is there as capital, which is there as the money to operate the business, is utilized to the best possible use. So we can say that human resource, that is the people working in an organization, are quite important resources of the organization. It is their competencies, it is their qualities which makes the organization a success. So we can say that human resource is the collective qualities of the people working in an organization, who are employed in an organization. When they come together, they are known as human resources, be it the worker, be it the boss, be it the subordinate, be it the manager at different grades. Now, let us talk about recruitment. Now, children, when we talk about recruitment, recruitment means identifying the sources of required staff and contacting the sources to attract the sufficient number of candidates from which the choice can be made. Now, what do we mean by identifying? That is, out of a pool of people, out of a group of people, out of as many people who have applied for the job, we are choosing, we are finding the sources of the required staff, required people who can attract, who can get into the sufficient number of candidates which we can get for a particular job, so that the choice is made for the best candidates who can fill the job. So what is the purpose of recruitment, children? The purpose of recruitment is to attract, that is to get, to motivate the sufficient large number of people, large number of candidates who have applied for the job, so that the most suitable person can be selected. Say children, there is a job in an organization at the workers level. So there is a pool of people who have applied for that job. The job is, say, for working on the machines which is related to weaving of cloth. So now there is a pool of people who have applied for that job, out of which basically when we choose, when we attract the sufficient number of people who can fill that job of weaving in an organization, who can work as a worker on the weaving machine. This is the process of recruitment. This is called as recruitment. This process is called recruiting and it is known as recruitment. Now children, recruitment is a positive process. Now, why it is a positive process? It is a positive process because it creates a pool of candidates, that is a large number of candidates from which a good choice may be made to fill the job vacancies in an organization. Say, we have a vacancy in our school for the history teacher or for any other subject, and there are a lot of teachers who have applied for that job. So that is that the pool of candidates, the pool of people who have the capabilities, who have the knowledge of that subject, say history, have applied for that job, out of which a good choice can be made to fill that job for the history teacher. So this is a positive process because we are not selecting at the earliest level. We are letting each one of them who have the capabilities, who have the knowledge, who have the skills to apply for that job. Now, recruitment precedes selection. Yes, selection is a later process. Before selection, there is recruitment. That is, a group of people apply for the job who have the capabilities, out of which we choose the good ones who can fill that job. The next is, it is a linking activity. Yes children, recruitment is a linking activity because it helps the job seekers, that is the people who are seeking, who want the job, and it is bringing the people who are seeking the job as well as who have the job together. Say there are people who want the job in an organization at the workers level, and the organization is in need of people who can fill the job for the working in a machine, on machines. So it is bringing, the recruitment brings together, links together both the parties by bridging the gap between both the parties. So it is linking activity between the job seekers and those who have the job. So now when we talk about recruitment, what all does it involve? First of all, it involves identifying, finding the sources from which the adequate number of qualified candidates can be obtained. That is, it finds out from what all sources, be it an employment exchange, be it through advertisement, be it through placement agencies, be it through promotion, transfer, etc. From what all sources, what all ways we can find the people who are qualified, who have the skills, who have the knowledge to fill the job can be obtained, we can get those people to apply for that job. Secondly, it assesses the suitability of different sources and choosing the most appropriate source. Say, we have given an advertisement in the newspaper, we have done the calling, we have gone through the recommendations. We also have people who are coming in for the recruitment through newspapers, and there are people who have applied for the job through gate, that is they have delivered their resumes on the gate. So out of them, when we assess, when we find out the suitability, when we find out the suitable candidates who have the skills, this becomes part of recruitment. This all is included in recruitment. Thirdly, it involves contacting the chosen sources and encouraging the prospective candidates to offer themselves for employment in the organization. That is, it involves contacting the different employment exchange, placement agencies. Like you must have seen right now, these days there are jobs available on different sites. So, contacting those people by the organization who have the job to find out, to have the job seekers who want the job in the organization. And then finally, contacting those job seekers either through telephonic or through email. All this is part and parcel of recruitment. So, recruitment is a big process. It involves lot of activities, children. Now, let us know the sources of recruitment. When we talk about sources of recruitment, children, it is of two types: internal recruitment and external recruitment. What do we mean by sources, children? Sources means the ways through which we can get the candidates, we can get the job seekers who can apply for the job available in the organization, in the company, in the firm. So, this process is called as sources of recruitment. That is the ways through which we can get the people to work at different levels, to apply for different levels in an organization. Now, sources is of two types, that is internal sources and external sources. When we talk about internal sources, that we are going to cover today in our video, that is internal sources. Children, there are people working at different levels in an organization. So, do you think there is promotion and transfer taking place in an organization? You must have heard about these words: promotion, transfer. Yes, this all is happening in the organization for recruitment. Now, before we move on to promotion and transfer, let us discuss what do we mean by internal recruitment. Internal means inside, within the boundaries of the company, within the jurisdiction of the company. Internal recruitment refers to filling the vacancies, that is the vacancies which are available in an organization, filling them by people working in the organization, that is the people who are working within the organization. How it is done? It is done with the help of promoting the people or transferring the people to different levels. Now, let us know what do we mean by promotion, what do we mean by transfer. Promotion means giving a higher rank, a higher level to the person who is working at a lower level. It is done in an organization. Why it is done? Say a person is working as a branch manager in the bank, and there is a vacancy for the zonal level manager in the bank, and the zonal level manager who was earlier working has retired. So the first preference, the first thing a company, a bank can do in this case is promoting the people who are capable, who have the skills to work as the zonal level from within the organization. Children, it is an easy process, and this is done in the organizations, that is internally, when the people working at lower level are being promoted to the higher level. It saves on the cost for the company, it saves the time also for the company. So when we talk about promotion, it is basically promoting the employees from the lower level to a higher level and posting them at the higher level so that they carry out the higher status, they have the higher salaries, and they perform their duties now at the higher level. Say we discussed this example that a person who was working in as a branch manager in the organization, now that person is being promoted because of his skills, because of his knowledge, because there was a vacancy, there was a place to be filled in the organization at the zonal level. So this is promotion. Now let us talk about transfer. Transfer is basically transferring, that is transferring a person from one place to another. Supposingly a manager was working at a bank in Gurgaon. Now that manager is being transferred to the Chandigarh branch. Why it is done? Why is there a transfer? Because there is a shortage of people working in the Chandigarh level. That is, there was a vacancy in the Chandigarh, there was less of staff in Chandigarh, so that person is being shifted, being transferred to another location. Now, you must be thinking about that is in the case of transfer also there is a higher status, higher salary. No, in the case of transfer, there is no change in the salary. It is basically done to meet the shortage of people working at different locations. So, transfer means shifting the employees from one factory, branch or office to fill the vacancy in another factory, organization or branch of the same company. It is to fill the shortage of the people working in an organization. It is done, children, again I would repeat, without any change in status and without any change in the salary. Now, what are the uses, what are the advantages of internal recruitment? The first advantage of internal recruitment is motivation. Why? Because when the people are being promoted to higher level, their morale, their willingness to do work gets motivated. They are motivated to perform their job better. They become more loyal towards the company. Now, the second point is it reduces the turnover rate, that is the labor turnover rate. What do we mean by this? It means that the people would now not find it easy to leave the organization. They would not be absent from their job because they would feel that in near future they might also get the promotion. So they will be more satisfied by working in the organization with the aim of getting a promotion at a higher level in the near future. The third point is it is a cheaper source. Why it is a cheaper source? Because we need not give any advertisement. We need not contact other people to whom we have to contact for the purpose of getting job seekers, the people who want the job in the organization, because it is cheaper, because it is done within the organization. There is no paperwork involved. Because it does not involve advertisement in the newspapers, it does not involve lot of interviews, reference check, etc., which is done in the external sources. When we hire the people from outside, it is required to advertise, it is required to do a reference check of the person who is working in some other organization. So we can say that internal recruitment is a cheaper source, cheaper way of recruiting people from within the organization. This internal recruitment also requires less training, because people working in an organization, they are familiar, they know the different jobs in the organization. Let's take an example of people working in a bank. They know, supposedly, a cashier is being promoted to some other level. Now he has become, say, manager. So he knows that what is the role of a manager. So there is hardly any requirement for training the cashier over here. So we can say that when we do internal recruitment, the training required is less. Whereas a person who is working in some other organization, we need to train him. We need to tell him about the rules, regulations and guidelines for working in our organization. Now let us discuss the disadvantages of internal recruitment. It leads to not getting fresh talent, that is the people who are maybe more talented, who are working at different locations, different places, different organizations. We are not hiring them. So maybe it may be the case that we are hiring the people, we are filling the vacancies in the organization with the people who have less talent. It may also lead to lethargic attitude in the organization of the employees, because of the fact that the people would be knowing that in near future I would be getting the promotion. So they would not be interested in working with their full motivation in the organization. Say a person who is working at the branch manager level, he or she knows that the zonal head is going to retire in 2 to 3 months and I would be promoted at that level. So he would not be interested in carrying out his duties with the utmost objective of achieving the goals, as he will become lethargic, he would become lazy. Thirdly, we can say that it is not a complete process in itself. Internal recruitment is not at all a complete process, because there are some vacancies in the organization at the higher level, at the technical level, which needs talented people to come forward for seeking the job. So it is internal recruitment, children, is not a complete process. There is a requirement in the organization for the external recruitment. There is a requirement for getting people to work at different levels, to fill the vacancies at different levels through internal recruitment. So children, today we have discussed about recruitment. We have discussed why it is required, what is the purpose it solves. We have also discussed about the sources of recruitment under the head internal recruitment, advantages and disadvantages of internal recruitment. Thank you. Have a good day.